Um, I really hope that you don't expect me not to read. I'm sorry. I have ADHD. There's no way that I can do that, and I don't want to use it as a crutch. Just want to let you know. I'm quite proud of my mask. It's very beautiful. I'm going to turn the camera around so you can look at it and so I can point things out. Here we go. We're starting now. This mask represents two versions of me. I'm a little nervous. I've never shared some of this stuff. One world sees me in one light. I see myself in a very dark, unfriendly light, I believe. I hope you can see the difference between their version and my version, and how much it mismatches, and how much it costs me and anyone else carrying my identity, the same identities that I carry. Sorry, okay. I'm going to turn you around now. Ready? Here we go. Oh, it's beautiful. It's too close. There we go. This is my mask. This is what other people see of me. On the outside of the mask, I've placed labels and assumptions other people have the illusion of me for years. The dog tags, which I know you can't really see. I'm going to have to move the camera around. I apologize. Okay, the dog tags represent 24 years of being a military spouse and mom. Right there. It represents, to a lot of people who don't know what it's like to be a spouse of a military person, say she's a housewife, she doesn't work at all. As if raising a family is easy between deportations, deployments, relocation, alone, packing up a home by yourself with kids. It's not easy. I've done 2 years of deployments without him home. And it's a lot for somebody who's married to go through. This is a form of gendered labor invisibility, care work for an essential but economically and socially uncounted. Next is the woman pulling the clock hand back. She's right here. Pretty cool, huh? I love it. I'm 53, restarting my life and my career alone with 2 kids. Actually, 1 now. A lot of people that translate, oh no, wrong one. I felt the weight of gendered ageism, definitely. The assumption that a woman my age is behind, should be retiring, not working. I'm out of touch. I'm not worth the investment because of when I started, not because of what I'm capable of. The unstable lettering going down the middle of the mask spells out fibromyalgia. I live with fibromyalgia, and I have for well over 20 years. One of the hardest part, it is the pain, but it's also the discrimination of I don't look sick. I pretend that I'm fine, and that has even happened within the last 6 months to one of my counselors. Oh, you look pretty good for somebody who has fibromyalgia. The hardest part is that I don't look sick or I don't look disabled. That disbelief is common experience for people with invisible illnesses. The burden of having to prove the suffering I live with every single day isn't invisible. The simple cross. I try to copy my Gram's cross that she gave me the day before she passed away. My Christian faith is still central to who I am. I believe every man is for himself, so there's good in everybody. It's not performance or an assumption others to get to make about my politics or values. It's genuine, personal, and grounding. The tangled wires on the ball and chain. I carry a diagnosis of chronic depression, ADHD, and PTSD. These labels often come with assumptions of instability and unreliability. That's mental health stigma, judging the label instead of the person. the ring outline with a question mark. I know you can't quite see it. It's right here. Where am I? People assume things about my romantic life by default, that I'm heterosexual, that I should get back out there after my separation and no longer with my ex-husband. What they don't know is that I'm asexual, because I've kept that private. The world just assumes an identity about me that isn't accurate. I have 2 kids, so that means that I enjoy sex, right? Wrong. That compulsory sexuality, the assumption that people experience sexual attraction, which quietly erases identities like mine, even when no one intends to. And finally, the dancing numbers. And I know you can't see them. The dancing numbers. I have dyscalculia, not dyslexia, completely different. A learning disability. I cannot do math beyond addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. I was diagnosed only 4 years ago, the same time I was diagnosed with ADHD. Come to find out, it goes hand in hand with women. I did not know this. I thought I was an enigma, because every time I'd go in to get diagnosis and figure out what was going on with me, they would say, just try harder. 20 hours in front of the computer trying to get schoolwork done on time isn't harder. So, apparently I'm a slacker. For years, I struggled and quit trying to understand how my brain processes things. Cost me my high school diploma. I struggled to earn my GED, and that translated into people and myself believing I just wasn't that smart. Pausing you so I can turn it around. Okay, so it doesn't want to stand up straight. It's not important, I guess. This is my favorite half. I think it's beautiful. All right, inside, the compass represents resilience. I navigated my family through more moves, deployments, and instabilities than I can count. That takes skill, patience. Even if no one called it a job. The diploma. I hold a bachelor's degree in human development and family dynamics, and I'm currently working on my master's. It directly contradicts the not smart narrative I believe of myself. The gap between what I've actually achieved and what I feel I am is as good example of internalized ableism. Absorbing the message about a disability so deeply that it overrides the evidence of my own competence. The broken heart. And the pause. You can't see them right there. I have dealt with a lot of loss since I have had to be the strong one and the one in charge of my father's estate. I do not think that I have grieved yet, and it's been 6 years since I lost my father, and 3 years since I've lost my uncle. Losing my kitty broke me. I can do this. She was my emotional pet, and she was my everything. I fought so hard to keep her with me. In the end, cancer won, and I couldn't ask her to stay with me for my selfishness. Even with 2 new babies, I still miss her very much. They're rotten to the core at 8 months. Oh my gosh. Okay, the quiet flame, that the sands of time, represents my asexuality. It doesn't need anyone else's validation. It's just true, whether or not I have said it out loud. The sands of time, because, sands, people move and they believe things. Anyway, the tree with roots represents the expertise I actually built over 24 years of managing a family system, which is exactly what my degree is in. Lived experience became academic expertise. The seed right here. I'll take a picture and I'll send them at the same time. I'm still growing as a person. None of these diagnoses or labels are the finished product. What was made clear to me, I'm sorry, this is almost too long, is that I hold privilege and marginalization at the same time, and they don't cancel each other out. They layer. I'm a white female. I was raised middle class, and I grew up in a Christian majority culture where my faith was never questioned. That is real, unearned privilege. At the same time, I am a woman facing ageism and sexism in the job market. Someone who's managing, oh my God, multiple invisible disabilities and chronic illnesses, a single woman ignoring outside assumptions about my romantic life, and as someone whose orientation doesn't fit the default script most people assume. None of these identities exist in isolation. My age intersects with my gender to create a very specific kind of doubt about my employability. My invisible illnesses intersect with my mental health diagnosis to create a compound sense of not being believed. This is what intersectionality equals. Oh my God, power just went out. Okay, I can't read. I can't see. Ah! Okay. My illnesses intersect my mental health, blah, 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 blah. It's how they combine and shape specific, my power's back on, unrepeatable experience that can't be understood by looking at any single category. Thank God I have thing. Doing this exercise was extremely hard, but that discomfort is exactly why it matters. As Miss Graham's always said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Here I am, showing my inner uncomfortability. If I can recognize how easy I absorb the message that I am not smart because learning disability, I can recognize the same underlying narrative in a client who's been told they're difficult, lazy, or too much because of the diagnosis, a disability, or an identity that doesn't fit the dominant script. If I know what it feels like to have entire identity go unseen because no one thinks to ask or make space for it, I am going to be more careful and not to assume I know a client's full story based on what is visible and what's not default. Or reorganizing my privilege as a white Christian raised woman means I have to actively check where I might unconsciously project my own default assumptions about clients whose social location is different from mine. This kind of self-examination isn't a one-time assignment. It's an ongoing practice that has to inform how I show up for every client, especially those whose oppression or trauma I haven't personally lived through. The mask isn't really about me being especially unique. It's about the fact that everyone is wearing one. And the work in this field, learning to see past the outside long enough to ask what actually underneath. This clarifies. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Bye, Miss Graham.